Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we will learn about the shocking developments surrounding E.J. DiMera's mysterious operations and the dangerous web of secrets that could trap multiple Salem residents in a nightmare they never saw coming. E.J.'s unexpected reunion with Mark Green. The streets of Salem are about to witness an intriguing encounter that could reshape the future of several beloved characters. E.J. DiMera finds himself face-to-face with Dr. Mark Green in what appears to be a carefully orchestrated meeting rather than a chance encounter. The timing of this rendezvous raises countless red flags, especially considering Mark's recent release from prison and his desperate need to rebuild his shattered life from the ground up. Mark Green's journey back to freedom has been anything but smooth, and his parole status hangs by a thread that could snap at any moment. Having secured his parole after serving time behind bars, Mark now faces the daunting challenge of reintegrating into Salem society while carrying the heavy burden of his criminal past. The question that looms over this entire situation is whether Mark possesses the inner strength and moral fortitude to resist temptation when opportunity comes knocking at his door in the form of E.J. DiMera's proposition. The shadowy job offer. E.J. DiMera has never been known for conducting business above board, and his latest venture appears to be no exception to this long-established pattern of behavior. The powerful attorney and businessman may be preparing to extend a job offer to Mark that walks the razor's edge between legal employment and criminal enterprise. Given E.J.'s involvement in acquiring Salem University Hospital and his secretive plans for expansion, including the construction of the Tom Horton Free Clinic, the nature of this potential employment arrangement seems anything but straightforward. The real question burning in everyone's minds revolves around the specific duties E.J. intends to assign to the freshly paroled doctor. Could Mark be recruited to participate in E.J.'s clandestine experiments that are rumored to be taking place in a secret laboratory hidden beneath the seemingly innocent facade of the free clinic? The implications of such an arrangement would be staggering, not only for Mark's future but for the entire community of Salem that remains blissfully unaware of what sinister activities might be unfolding right under their noses. The Dr. ROLF connection. The mention of mysterious experiments conducted by a DiMera family member inevitably conjures images of one particular individual whose name has become synonymous with mad science in Salem. Dr. Wilhelm ROLF, the DiMera family's longtime scientific advisor and resurrection specialist, has been involved in countless questionable experiments over the years. His expertise in life restoration procedures and biological manipulation has made him an essential component of the most outrageous DiMera schemes throughout the decades. Could Mark Green be positioned to become Dr. ROLF's newest colleague or perhaps even his protégé in whatever twisted scientific endeavors E.J. has planned? The possibility sends chills down the spine when considering the ethical boundaries that such a partnership might cross. Mark would essentially be trading his medical integrity and his hard-won freedom for a paycheck stained with moral ambiguity and potential criminal liability. The secret laboratory space currently under construction at the Tom Horton Free Clinic could serve as the perfect cover for experiments that push the boundaries of medical ethics and legal acceptability. Mark's precarious position. Standing at this crossroads, Mark Green faces a decision that will determine not just his immediate future but potentially the rest of his life. Will he succumb to the pressure of financial necessity and accept whatever mysterious orders E.J. DiMera might issue, knowing full well that compliance could send him straight back to prison? The weight of this choice becomes even heavier when considering that Mark has already paid a steep price for his past mistakes and should theoretically have learned valuable lessons about the consequences of poor judgment. The transition back to civilian life in Salem presents its own unique set of challenges for someone with Mark's complicated history. He must navigate a community that knows about his criminal record while simultaneously trying to establish himself as a trustworthy professional worthy of a second chance. Adding E.J. DiMera's potentially corrupt influence into this already volatile mixture creates a recipe for disaster that could explode at any moment with devastating consequences for everyone involved. Complications on the horizon. Mark's reintegration into Salem society promises to be anything but smooth sailing, as numerous obstacles and complications lie in wait around every corner. The stigma of his incarceration will follow him like a shadow, affecting his relationships, his professional opportunities, and his ability to rebuild any semblance of a normal life. Former friends and acquaintances may view him with suspicion, while new connections will be difficult to forge when the specter of his criminal past looms over every interaction. Beyond the social challenges, Mark must also contend with the practical realities of life after prison. Finding legitimate employment as a doctor with a criminal record presents nearly insurmountable obstacles, which makes EJ's offer all the more tempting despite its potentially nefarious nature. The financial pressures alone could drive Mark to make decisions that his better judgment would normally reject, especially if EJ dangles a substantial paycheck in front of someone struggling to make ends meet in an unforgiving economy. Leo's dangerous discovery. While Mark grapples with his future, another Salem resident finds himself stumbling into trouble through his own nosy tendencies. Leo Stark's insatiable curiosity and penchant for snooping have led him into dangerous territory once again, this time at the Tom Horton Free Clinic construction site. His unauthorized surveillance activities are about to come back to haunt him in a major way when he ventures into an area that should have remained strictly off-limits to prying eyes. The consequences of Leo's wandering come to a head when he crosses paths with Rita Leslie, the long-running executive assistant at DiMera Enterprises who has assisted numerous DiMera men throughout the years. Rita catches Leo red-handed as he snoops around the construction site, specifically in areas that house EJ's secret laboratory project. This discovery puts Leo in an extremely precarious position, as Rita will undoubtedly report his unauthorized presence directly to EJ DiMera himself. Rita's role as watchdog. Rita Leslie has built her career on loyalty to the DiMera family and discretion regarding their various business ventures, both legitimate and questionable. Her presence at the construction site wearing a hard hat suggests she plays a hands-on role in overseeing this particular project for EJ. When she encounters Leo skulking around in places he has no business being, her duty to report the intrusion to her boss becomes crystal clear. The envelope that Rita carries adds another layer of mystery to this already complex situation. What documents or information does it contain, and how might its contents relate to EJ's secret plans for the clinic and laboratory? Could these papers detail the true nature of the experiments planned for the hidden facility, or perhaps outline the recruitment strategy for personnel like Mark Green who might be persuaded to participate in ethically dubious research? The secret laboratory revealed. Leo's unauthorized exploration of the construction site inadvertently exposes the existence of EJ's secret laboratory, a facility that was meant to remain hidden from public view and scrutiny. This clandestine workspace represents the dark heart of EJ's plans for the Tom Horton Free Clinic, revealing that the philanthropic facade serves as nothing more than cover for far more sinister activities. The discovery of this secret lab raises urgent questions about what exactly EJ intends to accomplish with these hidden facilities. Multiple sources and rumors suggest that EJ's ultimate goal may involve bringing his father, the legendary Stefano DiMera, back from the dead through some form of resurrection procedure. Such an ambitious and frankly insane objective would certainly require a secret laboratory staffed by individuals willing to push the boundaries of medical science and ethical behavior to their absolute limits. EJ's master plan unveiled. The pieces of EJ DiMera's elaborate puzzle are beginning to fall into place, revealing a picture far more disturbing than anyone in Salem could have imagined. His acquisition of Salem University Hospital, funded in part by Gwen Rizika's substantial financial contribution, was never about improving healthcare for the community. Instead, the hospital purchase and the construction of the Tom Horton Free Clinic represent carefully calculated moves in a master plan that prioritizes EJ's personal agenda over the welfare of Salem's residents. The secret laboratory hidden beneath the clinic's construction site will serve as the operational center for experiments that likely violate numerous medical ethics standards and possibly several laws. By recruiting someone like Mark Green, who faces financial desperation and the challenges of reintegrating into society after incarceration, EJ ensures he has personnel who may feel they have no choice but to comply with whatever questionable directives he issues. This exploitation of vulnerable individuals demonstrates the depths of EJ's moral bankruptcy and his willingness to sacrifice others to achieve his goals. The aftermath of Leo's intrusion. Leo Stark's inadvertent discovery of the secret laboratory sets in motion a chain of events that could have far-reaching consequences for numerous Salem residents. Once Rita reports Leo's snooping to EJ, the powerful attorney will need to decide how to handle this security breach and prevent Leo from exposing the truth about the hidden facility. EJ's response to this situation could range from attempting to buy Leo's silence to taking more aggressive measures to ensure the secret remains buried. For Leo himself, being caught in the act of unauthorized surveillance places him in significant danger. EJ DiMera is not known for his mercy toward those who threaten his carefully laid plans, and Leo's knowledge of the secret laboratory makes him a liability that must be neutralized. The coming days will test Leo's survival instincts as he navigates the treacherous waters of DiMera family business and attempts to extricate himself from this dangerous situation without becoming another casualty of EJ's ruthless ambition. The convergence of these storylines, Mark's potential recruitment, Leo's discovery, and EJ's secret experiments, creates a powder keg situation in Salem that threatens to explode with devastating consequences for everyone involved. As these dangerous games of deception and manipulation continue to unfold, the residents of Salem remain largely oblivious to the storm gathering on their horizon, a storm that could forever change the landscape of their community when the truth finally emerges from the shadows. Part 2, Days of Our Lives, Tuesday, October 21, 2025, Love, Grief, and Confrontation rock Salem. As the crisp October air settles over Salem, emotions run high and loyalties are tested in unexpected ways. Tuesday's episode of Days of Our Lives delivers a moving blend of grief, confrontation, and new beginnings, a perfect storm of passion and heartbreak that only Salem can provide. This episode weaves together several powerful threads: EJ DiMera's desperate attempt to repair a broken relationship with Belle, Gabby and Philip's surprising new chapter, Theo's meaningful visit to Xander, and Abe's emotional confession to Paulina. EJ DiMera's bold, and ill-timed, gesture. The day begins on a tense note as EJ DiMera, dressed sharply as ever, stands outside Belle Black's home with a bouquet of vibrant flowers clutched in his hand. It's Belle's birthday, her first since losing her father, John Black, and EJ has decided to make an appearance. Unfortunately, his intentions are anything but purely sentimental. When Belle opens the door, the shock on her face quickly turns to annoyance. The last person she wants to see on such a personal day is EJ. Before she can shut the door in his face, EJ pleads with her to hear him out. "Please, Belle. Just a few minutes. I know today is hard for you," he says softly, the DiMera charm barely masking his ulterior motive. Reluctantly, Belle steps aside and lets him in, literally, not figuratively, as she quips dryly. Inside, EJ places the flowers on her table and begins reminiscing about John, speaking of how much he respected him, how deeply he knows Belle must be hurting. For a moment, Belle almost believes the sincerity in his tone, until the conversation takes a sharp turn. Without warning, EJ begins to raise his voice, his grief transforming into anger. He insists that Belle, as district attorney, must prosecute Sophia Choi for what she did to Johnny. That girl needs to pay for her actions. EJ shouts, his temper flaring. Belle, however, is unmoved. She meets his intensity with calm firmness. "Johnny is a teenager with mental health struggles, EJ," she replies. "He needs understanding, not more chaos." Her voice wavers just slightly, the emotional toll of her father's death still heavy on her shoulders. But her stance is unwavering. She doesn't stop there. Belle reminds EJ that much of the current turmoil surrounding Johnny, Tate, Sophia, and even Chanel stems from EJ's own manipulative behavior. "You're the reason their lives are in shambles," she says pointedly. "You stir up trouble, and then you act like you're cleaning up a mess you created." EJ is momentarily stunned, unused to being spoken to so bluntly. Belle takes the opportunity to regain control of the moment. "Thank you for the flowers," she says, her tone polite but icy. "They are beautiful. Bye." With that, she ushers him to the door, leaving EJ standing outside with his pride wounded and his plan thwarted. As the door closes, his expression hardens, another battle lost, but far from the end of his schemes. Theo's visit, compassion meets confusion. Meanwhile, across town, Theo Carver drops by to see Xander Kyriakis. Theo's visit seems casual at first, but beneath the surface lies a quiet sense of concern. Xander's recent behavior, his outbursts, his restlessness, has worried those who care about him. The two men share an uneasy camaraderie. Theo, ever thoughtful, tries to encourage Xander to open up about what's really going on. Xander brushes him off at first, pretending everything's fine, but the cracks are showing. Salem has a way of weighing heavily on even the toughest souls, and today, Xander looks particularly weary. The conversation takes a slightly lighter turn when EJ's name comes up, and both men share a dry laugh, as if mocking EJ's constant interference in everyone's business brings them momentary relief. Theo's visit reminds Xander, and the audience, that friendship and compassion can exist even among Salem's most flawed residents. Gabby and Philip, sparks of something new. Elsewhere in town, Gabby Hernandez and Philip Kyriakis find themselves at an unexpected crossroads. After years of romantic turbulence, betrayal, and loss, both are finally ready to move forward, but neither expected the path to cross in quite this way. Their scenes today are subtle yet charged with potential. Philip, with his trademark charm and gentle humor, manages to make Gabby laugh, a rare sound these days. Over coffee at the Brady pub, their playful banter hints at something more than friendship. When Gabby teases Philip about his terrible taste in women, he grins and replies, "Maybe I'm finally starting to improve." She laughs, brushing off the flirtation, but the spark between them is undeniable. Viewers who followed their separate stories for years can sense a fresh chapter beginning, one built not on manipulation or competition, but on shared history and mutual respect. It's the kind of slow-burn connection that could either heal old wounds or reopen them entirely. Abe's news leaves Paulina shaken. As the day winds down, Abe Carver sits across from his wife, Paulina, at their kitchen table. The tone is serious. Paulina can sense immediately that something's wrong. Abe takes her hand and explains the situation. Something has happened that will affect their family deeply. Whether it's about Theo's visit, the chaos surrounding EJ and the DeMaras, or a political issue in Salem's leadership, the exact details remain to be seen. But Paulina's face says it all, she's both shocked and heartbroken. Their scene closes quietly, the camera lingering on Paulina's eyes glistening with tears and Abe's silent strength beside her.